Northern New South Wales Football acknowledges the Awabakal people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. We recognise the continuing connections of Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people to the sky, land and waters, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Hi there, my name's Philip Andrews. I've filled the Club Development Officer role at Northern New South Wales Football for the past 5 years. During this time, I've seen child safe and incorporating the working with children check requirements become an increasingly important part of football clubs. The working with children check is legislated, so has rules that clubs must adhere to. Child safe, however, is an ongoing journey that clubs must continue to work towards. We'll be working through a number of topics during this presentation as a way of sharing the information relating to the working with children check. The 10 child safe standards were legislated early in 2022, and we need to begin to connect our child safe work with these standards. Standard 5 highlights that people are suitable for their role, and Standard 10 incorporates the policies and procedures that work to keep kids safe. The Office of Children's Guardian is the New South Wales government agency responsible for implementing child safe strategies across New South Wales. They have two primary functions related to your role in football clubs. They administer the Working with Children check and now lead the legislated requirements of the 10 child safe principles. We work closely with the Office of Children's Guardian to ensure clubs have the resources and education to develop child safe environments. The requirements for the Working with Children check were legislated in 2012, and even though some minor changes to language have been made, the legislation has been tweaked, but it has not changed. The Kids Guardian website contains all the information for the Working with Children check legislation. The Northern New South Wales Football website also contains Northern New South Wales Football resources designed to assist clubs to administer the Working with Children check legislation. I am also a resource at the end of an email or phone and happy to speak to you about your club. The Northern New South Wales Football website holds a position description that defines the Working with Children check administrator role as an off-field, non-committee administration role. I've shared it with a number of clubs who have adopted the position as a standalone role, or in some cases, it has been included in an existing role. One element that I wrote into the description is for the administrator to report to 2 committee meetings per year as a risk management agenda item. Reporting ensures the committee is involved in this legislative requirement and adds purpose to the work done by the volunteer. Volunteers and employees under 18 cannot get a Working with Children check. Under the legislation, parents and close relatives can apply for an exemption. The club does hold authority to accept an exemption or to pursue a Working with Children check. Any exemption provided must be recorded on the club's Working with Children check spreadsheet. Clubs should be collecting the Member Protection Declaration for every member claiming an exemption. This declaration needs to be kept by the club as evidence that efforts have been made to ensure the applicant is suited to be working with children. If not collecting the Member Protection Declaration, the Office of Children's Guardian insists applicants are screened and interviewed, including the supply of suitable references that are then checked. Refer to this process in the Child Protection Policy within the Football Australia Member Protection Framework. Every Working with Children check collected must be verified through the Children's Guardian verification portal. This is an integral part of the legislation. The verification portal connects the Working with Children check holder with your club. Once the verification is logged through the portal, an email will be returned to the club approving the person to work with children or giving a barred notification and requiring the person to be removed from their child-related role. This response will include an expiry date that must be recorded on the club spreadsheet. If a person verified to a club offends, the club will be contacted by the Children's Guardian to ensure the immediate removal from their child-related role. I urge clubs to access the verification portal and update club contact details, especially if your committee has changed in recent seasons. The Working with Children check only needs to be verified once and the expiry date recorded. Do not remove people from your spreadsheet. They remain as a record of the time that they worked in your club. There is a spreadsheet available on the Northern New South Wales Football website. Please add the login details to the spreadsheet at the top of the page and make the spreadsheet available as part of committee succession plans. Recording the expiry date of each verified Working with Children check allows the club to manage their Working with Children checks. A person can apply for their check up to 3 months before the expiry date. This applies for young people turning 18. They can apply up to 3 months before their 18th birthday. The application for a Working with Children check begins with an online application and will take only a few minutes. The applicant will be issued with an application number. This can be verified by the club. Step 2 involves a trip to Service New South Wales office with 100 points of ID and the application number. Paid and volunteer Working with Children checks all have an expiration at the end of 5 years. And the process for a paid or volunteer check is the same. The Working with Children check alone is only effective in protecting children and young people from identified, known, convicted offenders. Risk minimisation should include strategies adopted by clubs that minimise opportunities for people to offend or to harm children. The child safe space is littered with details of individuals with Working with Children checks who went on to offend. The offending is usually not opportunistic, but begins with grooming activities. This is the building of trust with kids, their parents, and adults, and you really need to think about when coaches are arriving at training with children that are not their own, or offering kids ride home after training. Child safe strategies in clubs need to be firm, but also need to have room to evolve. You need to have a clear strategy for Working with Children checks and or a plan to screen applicants for exemptions. The number one strategy needs to be reducing opportunities for adults to be alone with children. Clubs need to take control of training afternoons. Teams may not be insured if training is conducted off-site, and I think they're where teams that train within school grounds or at a convenient local park. Never allow junior or youth teams to train alone. Buddy up young mini-roos teams to train together, or at least alongside each other at the same time. Clubs need to have a timetable for training and ideally committee or duty officers to be present. Do coaches need to be in change rooms when kids are getting changed? Can you see the entrance of toilets from the training venue? If not, how do you know who is in there when the child leaves the training session to go to the toilet? Can you make changes at your venue on training afternoons to take control of these situations? The child safeguarding policy on the Football Australia Member Protection Framework offers clear direction on child safe strategies that all clubs should be implementing. There is some resources available. Wish you well in your journey towards offering child safe spaces for children to play football. All the best.